Thanks, Brian. First of all, I want to say thank you to Brian Burke for this opportunity. I am humbled and excited to develop players for the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's something that I've enjoyed in the past, and I will continue my passion to do it. I also want to thank the rest of our management team, Davey Nonis, Cliff Fletcher, Jeff Jackson, and Dave Poulin. I've had an awful lot of support from those guys, and they pointed me in the right direction on a number of issues, and I thank them for that. And lastly, my wife's not here today, but I'd like to thank her for her continued patience and support through my career. I'm not sure if it's a career or a way of life, probably more of a way of life, this hockey business, and she's been very patient and supportive, and I thank her for that. My job here with the Toronto Marlies is quite simple. We are going to develop players, and we are going to develop them as quickly as possible and get them down the street to play for Big Blue as soon as we can. We want to develop these young men on the ice and off the ice. We want players that are character players and are character people. They will be involved in the community. They will live their lives right, and they will be committed to being a good teammate with great work ethic and great discipline. And if they're not willing to do that, then they won't play for our team. It's that simple. I thank all of you for coming out. I know it's been a long weekend, and I appreciate your attendance here today. And we can open up to questions if you like.
Take questions.
Dallas, why is this a logical progression for you, given your career within this organization, the time you player, and all through this moment in time? Why is this perfectly placed for you?
Well, I think it's great timing. Brian said it. I've been referred to as a journeyman player. I know the ins and outs of the American League, the NHL. I know what these players are going through. I know what they need to improve on to make it to the next level. I've got now an experience as an NHL assistant coach, and the player development job last year was wonderful. It enabled me to go out, spend time with other coaches, see the game a little differently, and kind of step out of the box, I guess. So I think I'm well suited for it, and we're going to do our best to get our players down the street as quick as possible.
What influence did Paul Maurice have on you?
Well, he's had a great influence. I think without Paul, I think he sped up my learning curve. And, he had a great work ethic toward the game. He's very passionate about it. He's very emotional about it. And we're very similar in that way. We really care about our teams, and we care about winning. My job's going to be a little different, obviously. I'm going to be very passionate about developing players, and I think by developing very good players that the winning comes right after that. And I will be more than proud when my players are pulling on a sweater for the Big Blue.
Did you foresee a career in coaching, Dallas? And can you tell me the influence that Roger Nielsen had in terms of the teaching part of the job on you?
Yeah, well, Roger's he's probably the biggest influence in my life. He was like a father to me. And, we would go have our go-arounds about the way to play the game. We didn't quite see it eye to eye, the way he liked to play and the way I'd like to see the game played. But the great thing that Roger taught me, and it was the countless hours in his office and his house on the lake there on Chemung Lake, the work ethic that goes into it. And this isn't a job; it's a way of life. And I saw how hard that man worked at his passion, and I appreciated it. And I saw how much he cared about his players. And he was a great teacher. He was patient, and I hope that I can be half the coach that he was.
Dallas, sorry, are you in a position to announce an assistant coaching staff yet?
Right now, we do have one guy wrapped up. He's a former Toronto Maple Leaf. His name's Derek King. He's he has a great way about him. He's a very positive individual. He's going to be great for our young forwards. He had a very long career in the NHL. He's been involved working part-time for the NHL, a little bit out in Phoenix. He's been involved with the Coyotes conditioning camps out there. He's up to date on the game, and he's going to be a wonderful asset for myself and our team going forward. We've made a commitment to him, and I think he's made a bigger commitment to us. He's uprooting his family from a very nice life in Scottsdale, Arizona, and he's excited, and he's moving here full time. So I'm thankful that he's come on board, and I'm not prepared to announce the other one, but we do have somebody in mind, and we're working on it as we speak.
Brian was talking about all the qualifications. You mentioned father, you mentioned priest. How much has that changed since your days as a player, where in the minor leagues now is a lot more of developing as a person, as a player, compared to just trying to build a hockey team?
Well, I think the resources here are incredible, and I think teams have taken a bigger step with their development now in the salary cap world. You have to develop your own players. So I think the player development job last year I was kind of all those things. I was trying to help these players get better, but these guys are young guys. They're going through all kinds of different things, whether it be problems at home, or they're away from home for the first time, or they just broke up with their girlfriend, or whatever it could be. And you have to wear a number of different hats with them. And I think that is a natural progression into a job like this, and it's an important one. So going forward, we are going to help these young men in any way we can. If it means setting up a bank account, or making sure they know what the forecheck is, or being on time, all these things seem like little things, but they're part of being a professional. And so we will do that. We will look after them, we will push them, we will encourage them, and we will step on them if need be.
A number of places, Dallas, you've been, I know you've been a great many players. How often have you seen a guy who was just wasted because the organization didn't understand his needs, or he had a conflict with veterans and people weren't looking after him, or there was a clique inside a team that ended up freezing him out? How often does a kid who has the talent to play in the NHL not make it, not necessarily through their own lack of desire or ability, but because they weren't handled right?
I think rarely. I think I've seen so many players in the minors that had far more ability than NHL players, but for some reason they didn't quite get it. And back in that day, there weren't, like I was talking about, the resources to help these players. Maybe there was just one coach and one assistant, or you were isolated in a city far, far away from your NHL team. And now with the emphasis on development, you have to push these players through that. And a lot of times these guys in the minors that are highly talented, there's a wall there, and they need to be pushed through it or helped through it. And I think very rarely does an NHL team mishandle a guy. For me, it's on the player to be so passionate about his career that he is going to do anything to get out of here. And we're fortunate as an organization to have our team in the same city. But that being said, I don't want my guys comfortable down there. We don't want our players comfortable playing for the Toronto Marlies. I want them a little bit miserable and trying to get out, whether to come play for our parent team or our general manager, Brian Burke. He's not about holding people back. If they're good enough to play for another NHL team, then I'm sure he will trade them and get them going on their careers.
I like the sound of that, though. That explains why I never made it. That's true.
Anybody else?